It was another heartbreaking day for the families of those killed on board flight MH17 as Dutch investigators laid out all the details they've uncovered about the incident. It's clear the 777 was shot down by a Russian-made surface-to-air missile, but they don't know who launched it, pro-Russian separatists or Ukrainian forces. A separate criminal investigation will attempt to find the culprits, and the Netherlands Prime Minister urged Russia's full participation.
En wat ik eigenlijk nu wil doen,
I want to call on Russian authorities to respect but also to provide complete cooperation with this report and the following criminal investigation by the Dutch public prosecutor in collaboration with 4 other countries.
Now, Moscow immediately lashed out at the report, calling it, quote, biased and political. The maker of Buk Missiles, a state-owned company, said the model used in the attack was too old to belong to Russia. The Dutch report says the airspace above the conflict zone should have been closed to civilian airplanes at the time the plane was shot down. And for an official Ukrainian response, I spoke with the country's Foreign Minister, Pavlo Klimkin, who joined me exclusively from the United Nations in New York. Pavlo Klimkin, welcome to the program.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Sir, as you know, the report came out today by the Dutch Safety Board, and it gave a lot of new facts, but it did not assign blame for who shot down MH17. How satisfied are you with the report, and what do you make of the findings?
Firstly, it's a technical investigation report, and it's about the reason why and in what way the Malaysian airplane has been shut down. We will have in the future the criminal investigation report, hopefully at the beginning of next year. And we will definitely get more about the chain of command.
Now, right before the press conference happened today where the report was issued, the Russian maker of the Buk missile system came out and issued their own report where they said that the missile must have been fired from territory controlled by Ukrainian forces. I want us to listen in to something that was said at that press conference.
The results of the experiment have entirely refuted the conclusions by the Dutch Commission about the type of the rocket and the place of the launch. Today, we can say definitely, and we will show it in our presentation, that in case the Boeing 777 of Malaysian Airlines had been hit by a BUK missile complex, that would mean that it had been hit by an NM38 missile launched from the village of Zarashensky.
How do you respond to that, sir?
You know, my response is very straightforward and clear. Firstly, we had a unique investigation team. We've been given the lead for this team for our Dutch esteemed friends and partners. It's about combined experience. It's about eye care experts. And no doubt that the missile has been fired from the territory controlled by Russia and by pro-Russian proxies. So in this sense, Russia can play any kind of game with any kind of quasi-evidences. But in any way, we have clear technical investigation report.
One of the other things that was criticized in the report was that prior to this happening, the airspace over the conflict zone was not completely closed off. Why didn't you do that?
The answer is also really straightforward. No one, literally no one, could have imagined that such highly sophisticated and extremely dangerous weapon could be brought into Donbass, and it was brought by Russia.
But, sir, I just want to stick with that point, because 3 days prior to the shootdown of MH17, on July 14th, 2014, an Antonov 26 of the Ukrainian Air Force was shot down at a height of 6,500 meters, which is about 22,000 feet. So it must have been clear at that point that there was long-range, high-altitude anti-aircraft weaponry in that area, wouldn't it?
Our authorities, including the military, believe that Antonov airplane has been hit by Russian missiles and from the Russian territory. And it was about different altitude. And from the technical point of view, it's completely different from shutting down the airplane at the altitude more than 11,000 meters. So in any kind of risk analysis and in any kind of imagination, there was no in any way understanding about Russia bringing such extremely dangerous anti-air missile complex to Ukraine.
When we look at the investigation that's going forward, obviously a lot of things are still very murky. A lot of facts aren't readily accessible. Do you think that an international tribunal would be the best way forward to try and bring clarity, rather than a criminal investigation that's going on right now or technical reports that are done by countries, an international investigation into all this?
Look, I believe it could go along in a complementary way. We need criminal investigation reports for understanding who were behind this tragedy. And I believe that international tribunal is the best legal vehicle to address this issue, because it's fully accountable to the Security Council, it's fully unbiased, and it's fully transparent. Why should you reject the whole notion of such international tribunal if you want the perpetrators to be brought to justice? If we can't go along with such an option, we could come forward with the idea either of so-called hybrid tribunal or national jurisdiction. But we could also try to find an option where, after legal shaping up for the future option, we could ask for the Security Council backing. Because for us, it's critical to have a legally compulsory option for Russia to get those responsible for this tragedy to this tribunal or to any legal vehicle. It's indeed critical.
Pavlo Klimkin, thank you for joining the program.
It was a pleasure.